I'm just going to come out and say, before I try to give any sort of review for this movie, that Inside Llewyn Davis is the most powerful film for me personally. It was the most emotional film that I've seen this entire year. Now, I'm not saying that it's the best film of the year. I'm not saying that it's the best film by the Coen brothers, but it is truly a great film, and it kind of snuck up on me. I really wasn't expecting it, but it's powerful, very powerful. This is a movie about a starving homeless artist who kind of mooches off people, lives on different people's couches. I know a lot of people like that. That's when I first saw the trailer for it. Initially, I thought, oh, well, this is going to be a story about Llewyn Davis, who, I'm not going to pretend like I'm some connoisseur, like I know a lot about folk music. So I just assumed in the trailer that Llewyn Davis was a real person. So I thought, oh, this is going to be a movie that's kind of about, it's going to be like a rags to riches type story where you see him kind of scrambling and poor, trying to get his big break, and he finally does. That's just initially what I thought the movie was going to be about, because that is the big grand Hollywood allegory that we see over and over and over again. Because when you see movies about like famous rock stars or musicians, it's usually two different things that you're going to see. You're either going to see the movie that's about somebody who already has that fame, and it's the price of that fame that has caused them to spiral. They're usually coke addicts, philanderers, they're drunk, whatever. And then there's the other film, which is what I just mentioned, what I thought that Llewyn Davis was going to be, a rags to riches story of somebody scrambling to get that big break, and finally they're going to get it. But this movie is neither of those things. This is a movie about the people who never get that break, the people that are never rewarded for their talents at all. Because, let's face it, not everybody's Bob Dylan. There's one Bob Dylan, but there's tons of people that never ever see any money for what they do. And I really appreciated that. I found that extremely refreshing, that this is a between the lines kind of movie. Not only is this film about somebody who doesn't become fulfilled, but it's also about the domino effect that creates in his life. Because Llewyn is not always a sympathetic character. When he doesn't get what he wants, he often takes it out on other people in order to feel in control or to feel superior in some way, because it seems like everything is out of his hands. So he's constantly rude to his peers. He always feels like he's above them in terms of his just talent and artistic, or his creativity. And he calls Carey Mulligan's character a careerist because, she wants to have a child and get married, live in the suburbs. And yet, he believes that with his guitar and with his music, it's something very powerful to him, but yet at the same time, he dismisses it as something that he uses to pay his rent. And he says, I'm not a trained monkey. So it's a very interesting dichotomy. And that's another point that the movie makes. Again, it makes a lot of great points, but our quest for success, for fame, and passion is often very difficult. So when we use something that we really believe in, like, his is his music, sometimes the music, as much as it's supposed to be art and something we're supposed to enjoy and be good at, it doesn't always seem so romantic to him. Sometimes it is just something to pay the rent. Sometimes it is something that he has to sell out in order to, he has to sell his soul basically in order to make money. And all of us are the same in that. We all have passions, but oftentimes we make a lot of sacrifices for those passions. But we keep on doing the things that we love, or doing the things we are good at. For Llewyn, of course, it's playing his guitar, because in a way he is making art of his pain. And I love what, I think it was Oscar Isaac who said, it was in an interview, he said, and I thought this was brilliant the way he said it, he says basically the world is squeezing Llewyn Davis, and the way that he performs, the way he sings and plays his guitar is like his cry. So, the world is squeezing him, and this is his cry of pain. This film represents every artist or anybody that has ever had a dream, who is constantly going through the world dealing with neutrality and never getting that big chance that we all expect. and coping with being ordinary. And sometimes that's very hard. And but what keeps us going is the way that we use art, the way we use music, dance, paint, whatever it is, to try to come to terms with that pain and come to terms with the world. Because it is a very cold world, and the Coens do use that metaphor in a very literal way with the film, because the entire movie throughout, it's very cold. It's constantly snowing. It's grim. Yet there's a real romantic quality to the way it's made. I mean, it's beautifully shot. And I think that's kind of what the Coens see America, or that's their version of reality and of America, the real America. Not the one about the rags to riches, the one about fame being too difficult, the one about extraordinary people. This is really what they see for people, what life really is like. And it's grim, it's misanthropic, but there's still that beauty, that ability to create art and expression there. So it's a very multidimensional, very deep film. And if there's anything you should see this year, I think this is the movie, because it's one of those things that I can see myself buying and watching over and over and always finding something new in it. So treat yourself this Christmas and go see it. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, the link is below. And also please comment, let me know what you thought about the movie. And thank you for listening.